Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bom dia, alegria, Monson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, and of course the Portugal Club, where we will go for the Portuguese citizenship test question. Yes, we're getting there to our 100th question, 100 questions of the Good Morning Portugal Portuguese citizenship test question, series 94 today, and it features my favorite dessert. For what it's worth. I'm not sure what your favorite Portuguese dessert is. Do let me know in the chat this morning. Coach Turner, what's your guilty pleasure when you come over here and you're enjoying walking around the bay and then you succumb to the occasional dessert here and pile on a few calories inadvertently? The Portugal 15, I think it's called, in the same way that people go to college in the US and put on 15 pounds. People do that, I think, when they arrive here first in Portugal as well. How are you doing today, Matty, Sarah? T-Duck, the coach is in, and Mike as well. Bon dia to you. And what's this? Looks like Carl either had a disturbed night, actually. I did have a sleep, yes. I think that's customary when you go to bed of an evening. But yeah, a few minutes late this morning, forgive me. A disturbed night. And then, yes, to compound that, one or two technical challenges as well. The Portuguese are joining me. It'll be fairly easy for me. I just ask him one question and then off he goes. So looking forward to having a chat with Tony in a little while. Let me just make sure he's got the link to join me. Have you been watching the Portuguese recently? What's he been talking about? What's he been moaning about? Certainly one of the things that I saw him mention that chimes very nicely with what we're doing and our new orientation for the year is aging in Portugal. And I in making my slide, my tile, my thumbnail for this morning's show, I put, and I don't know if this is still allowed. He may have a legal case against me now, but I put the Portuguese's photograph that I normally use through Grok and an aging filter, which I'll show you in just a moment. Boiled eggs. Oh, that's the man. Just put the link to the show for Tony. And he'll be joining me, I think, let's say 8:20. Should we invite him on at 8:20? And if you've got any questions for the Portuguese, stick them into the chat so we don't forget them, and we will make sure that gets put to him. But Portuguese citizenship test in the meantime, and a lovely poem. Well, a kind of poem that I think you may well find amusing this morning as well. A couple of bits, and yes, some leftovers from yesterday in a good way, not in a bad way. We'll stick them in a pan with a bit of butter and fry them up and rehash for you for this morning. There's something. The screen is looking very still. Let me excite it with news of how you can join and support what we're doing. GMP VIP, the Portugal Club there. That's how to get involved. We're still looking for our 250th member. Right, I should have said no sound issues today. Hold on a minute. Have we got the wrong microphone again? The microphone always works well when it's on. Please tell me I am, or you are hearing me this morning. That's just made my heart skip a beat there. And yes, when we had lunch last Friday, that is indeed Larry the Peacock from Caldas de Rainha. One of many, it would appear, and I saw a wonderful convoy. I don't know what the collective noun of peacocks is. Somebody might like to look that up. But there was a fantastic convoy of albino and regular and male and female peacocks progressing through the Dom Carlos Park in Caldas de Rainha. And this is one of the many pictures that we took of the incredible, the miraculous creatures, aren't they? Peacocks. So he's staring at you this morning. Keeping you on your toes. Imagine what a peck from one of those. It could be pretty nasty. Matty with a bon dia alegria a todos e feliz terça-feira. Bon dia from Sarah and T-Duck as well. Rainy Lisbon, turning sunny later. Yes, more rain here from around, I don't know, 7 or 8 last night. And what really surprised me was how cold it was last night. Normally when rain comes, it can make it quite mild, can't it? But not for us on the Silver Coast last night. It was cold, as well as very rainy for what seemed the whole night. No sunny expectations here for Matty. Only rain and showers, maybe tomorrow. Bon dia from the coach. E feliz terça, como estão? Still recovering after a week of being under the weather. Oh dear, coach. At least I'm getting out for a coffee. Should be back to normal, or as normal as it gets, coach, in the next couple of days. I plan to live in the dream. I plan to sit on the patio and catch some vitamin D. Only thing I'll be catching today, if I would sit outside, is a cold and lots of. Listen to us all. At the moment, I have a rain rate of 2 millimeters an hour. Oh, what fun in central Portugal. Talking of which, a bit further over towards Fundão, I shared a wonderful property from Pure Portugal last night on the Your Home in Portugal show with Ben. Great start to the year, Ben. Thank you. And Ben's introduction to the presidential, well, the three favorites as he saw them, the ones who are thinning out now to be the front runners. And Ben gave us his assessment and what the likely impact of each president might be on the real estate market. So thanks, Ben, for joining me last night. Every Monday, except for the first Monday of the month when we have the Good Morning Portugal Club. That's your home. Find your home in Portugal with Ben Austin of the agency. Bondi Compass from Mike as well. How's Miranda de Corvo this morning? Click the like button and the sun will come out. It's worth a try, isn't it? Gemini's here as well. Thank you for joining us this morning and last night. Yeah, Larry's on the screen. And sound is good. That's good to know. Heart skip a beat. Not my fault you don't read the no in no. Thank you, Matty. The very soul of compassion this morning. Right. That and who else is here lurking who hasn't said hello ever or yet so far this morning? It looks, hold on, here's a tech issue. It looks like your stream isn't showing up on LinkedIn. This is likely a known issue with LinkedIn. Okay, fair enough. No harm done. I think most of our viewers come from, let's have a look. Yeah, mostly on YouTube and a couple on my Facebook profile this morning. So how you doing? Do let me know. A leftover from yesterday, didn't get around to showing this yesterday. Thank you from Anna, Swede in Portugal, although currently at the moment in Stockholm, and sent this fantastic picture of people going swimming in Sweden on a snowy morning. And I noticed that's not well, it could be an IKEA design, couldn't it? On the leader of the pack there, these swimming suits. I saw somebody in one of these. I was walking along on Saturday on the Marginal here in San Martino de Porto, and someone shouted, "Hey, Carl Bunsen!" And he had one of these, and he just got out of the sea, and he had one of these jackets on after his swim in the sea. What he didn't have was a ladder on his back, which you don't actually need here in San Martino de Porto. You can just wade into the water. It looks like this is a really unceremonious dip in Stockholm here, where you have to jump in or take your own ladder and hang it into the water. So maybe that is from IKEA, the Sprink or something like that, an interesting name. A coat with a built-in ladder on its back there. Thank you very much to you, Anna, for sending us that. Thank you very much indeed. Also, not shown until this morning, the Catholic iconography doesn't make it for the most appealing and inviting of events. But this will be this coming weekend. No, yes, this coming weekend. San Sebastian. Sorry, I hadn't shown that before. That's from Matty. If you've got any other events that are happening around your way that you think people should know about, well, why not send them to me? And that's the San Sebastian over at Lorissal. Is that what your local village is known as, or is that where that event is happening there, Matty? What's this then? Oh, great show today. Oh, that was a bit of feedback about when Roxy was on last week talking about Venezuela. Yeah, I think that was a particularly good interview, even if I say so myself. And what have I just deleted? I've just deleted something there. Okay. All right. I don't know what I deleted, but I'll never know now because it's gone. Oh, yeah. Peter's Cabras de Mort, the Kill Her Goats, the top Portuguese horror movie. Great way of learning Portuguese and finding out a few special effects. Thank you very much, Peter, for that. Let's get rid of that too. I think that's served its purpose. Gary's 4-foot snake skin. Yes. Also, here we go. This is what we're looking for. This I thought was very nice. And this is from Cindy. Some of you might remember Cindy, who was with us, I think around 2021, 22. I came to join us for a little while here in Portugal. And this is what she shared yesterday. I'm seeing some fantastic things on social media as people are seeking a little bit more mindfulness, calmness, tranquility, some wonderful memes, as well as all the funny ones that T-Duck and I tend to and fro, and that the likes of Kate Bygrave with their Bygrave bonus are posting up in the Portugal Club. There are all these wonderful kind of spiritualish memes as well. Let me just stop this. It feels like I should stop the ticker tape for a moment and read this with you, share this with you at the moment. If things are getting a bit too much, this is some really good advice, I think. When everything is feeling overwhelming, make your bed. Has anyone found that? I think there's something about tidying the bed up, isn't there? That and it sounds very Jordan Peterson, but I think there's some truth in it. Otherwise, people wouldn't go on about it so much, right? When you're not feeling in love with your body, eat a nutritious meal. I think that works, doesn't it? And last night, I made a really nice salad of watercress with a honey and mustard dressing. It was delicious. When your head is full of thoughts, write them down. Now, that definitely helps, doesn't it? When your head is awash with ideas and thoughts, writing a few things down helps to distill some of that noise in the head. When your body is feeling tight and stressed, or you're feeling anxious, one for the coach here, take a walk, get a few steps under your belt, literally. When someone is on your heart, when something is on your heart, speak the words. Maybe that's when something's heavy on your heart. Maybe voice it, maybe speak it out to someone who you feel safe sharing that with. When the dream is always with you, take a small step. Sometimes a simple action can help you reset. It can move the energy and change the mood. It can help you see something a little differently. It can help feel like an exhale, taking that small step, the baby steps that Phil talks about. And when things are a little hard, there's nothing better than getting into a beautifully made bed at the end of the day. Did you see what they did there? I don't know who that can be credited to, but I found it via Cindy, and lovely to come across that. Thank you for sharing that yesterday, Cindy, I think it was on my Facebook. Bobby O'Reilly here. Good morning to you, Bobby. How you doing? Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you heard my invitation the other day. It'd be good to catch up with you here on the show soon. Popping the ticker tape back on. And yes, a poem for you now then. This is Brian Bilston's great. This is my year in diets, which is perhaps not spiritually-ish, but more amusing and funny. Starting the year then, my year in diets. This is Brian Bilston. Brian starts the year with veganuary, then well-intentioned with February. Excellent for bowel health. Then the habits start slipping. The well-formed and well-intentioned habits perhaps slip in the third month with starchy March. Then cake April, it's like, oh, sod it. Just give me the starch in the cakes. Then macaroni cheese in May. Then June and tonic, July scream, August sticky toffee pudding in August in the summer. September, yeah, just give me a sagrush. Octoblerone, November, and then December. That's a year in diets there from the brilliant Brian Bilston. Excellent stuff. Gary Mills also here this morning. Bon dia, just lurking. How you doing, Gary? Lorisal de Campo is the name of the village I am living in. Yes, probably quite important to have a Lorisal de Campo. I heard of a story of a fellow expat who had put a rabida, possibly, into their sat-nav and set off actually for quite an important appointment. And the sat-nav was going crazy. Sometimes you know you don't need to be doing a U-turn. You know where you're going. And the sat-nav is saying, at the next roundabout, do a U-turn. And you're like, no, and you turn it off. Well, this friend kept having that alert for a rabida, thinking they were heading south, quite some way, actually, only to discover, pulling over and listening, hearing out the sat-nav, that there is another rabida up in Portu in the other direction. So thankfully, that would have saved them, I think, probably 4 hours driving by listening to the sat-nav on that occasion. Equally helpful as it can be annoying sometimes. But point I'm making is there's probably loads of Lorisals. There are certain names in Portuguese geography, topography, town names, place names that repeat. and there can be many of them all over the country. So don't assume that you've put the right one into your sat nav. If you're heading to L'Oréal for the San Sebastian, you might find that you want to put L'Oréal do Campo, or you'll end up in another L'Oréal in the Algarve or up there in Trás-os-Montes or somewhere like that. Let's go to the Portugal Club then. Let me have a quick cough. All that chuckling is making me cough. Thank you, T-Duck, for your correspondence. I'm not sure I can put that on the screen that you've sent me this morning just yet. Send contributions for inclusion or not, or if you just want to send me a message, 913-590-303. Hold on, I need to have a sip on this Yorkshire tea. And hold on a minute, hold on. Please bear with. I should have put, do you know what, our equivalent, I think, of the trade test transmission. Please, I need to adapt this, but if I need to cough, I should at least put the body on the balcony on the screen, shouldn't I? So that you've got something to look at while I'm clearing my pipes, as it were. There you go, the body on the balcony. Normal service will resume in a few seconds. Very good. Let's go over to the Portugal Club as we anticipate the arrival of the Portugueser and find out what is on his mind. Any news from the Portugueser? I imagine he's probably got cabin fever. If it's been raining over in central Portugal, he won't have been out walking 27 kilometres this morning just yet. Before he gets here, hold on a minute, where is he? He sent me a message. Yep, he's going to be joining us soon. Portugal Club then. And what's your favourite Portuguese dessert? Some of them are featured this morning, not thermal tips, a Bygrave bonus, that's for sure. We'll come back to that. But first, let's go to the Portuguese citizenship test question. Oh, I need to refresh this page to get the latest Portuguese citizenship test question. How are you doing with these, generally speaking? Nobody's voted yet. Nice. I think it's an easy one this morning. Portuguese citizenship test question 94. Just 6 to go. What is the name of the traditional Portuguese rice pudding dessert? Is it A, arroz doce? Is it alatria, which has had, I think, a special protection given to it? That's an Algarvian speciality, isn't it? The alatria. Or is it late creme? Actually, 2 of my favorite desserts. I don't know if I've tried the alatria. I don't mind that at all. I'll give that a go. But 2 of my favorites are here, the arroz doce A and the late creme C. So which is it? The traditional Portuguese rice pudding dessert. I'm going to go for, if you know your Portuguese vocabulary for rice, I'm going to be going for A there. What do you think that might be? I'll put the link for it into the chat, and we'll be taking it easy. Or will we be taking it easy? I'll be taking it easy. I'll just ask Tony one question, and off we go. That'll be us for 40 minutes until 10 o'clock. I suspect he looks freezing. He is housebound. His attempts to get out and about some fresh air and a few steps in have been thwarted, I think, this morning. And you know what? Looking at him, shaking his head, I think it might be getting to him. It's no fun, is it? All this rain, all this damp. And I can understand why he might be a bit frustrated this morning. Let me just put the Portuguese citizenship test question link into the chat for you to vote. And there are 16 Oaklands. Yeah, there you go. Same in the US. I mean, with a country as big as the US, you're going to get a little bit of repetition, aren't you? Is Oakland one of those names that was taken from England originally? But yeah, be careful setting your sat nav in the US and heading off for Oakland. There are 16 of them. Morning to you, Denise. Lovely to see you this morning as well. Thank you for being here. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. See if we can cheer him up at all. It's the Portugueser. Please subscribe. Otherwise, that's ignorant.
Bom dia, muy amigo. Yeah.
Tony, you and your bird hide. What's with the camo, man?
It's just that I'm soaked. I've already been out.
Yeah.
I've done, I've done 18,500 steps so far this morning. And
seriously?
and they've been very, very wet. This is like I bought this. I tell you something, right? I've had to buy a whole new wardrobe, and
right.
I put it off as long as possible, but my clothes just start to look ridiculous. And
they're hanging off you. They're all too big.
Yeah. And I was, when I started, I was like an XXL, And unbelievably, now I'm an M. I don't think I've worn M since I was in my teens. You know what I mean?
Does that stand for magnificent, Tony?
It stands for magnificent, yeah. But
Yeah,
I had this horrible experience. I don't know. Has anyone had this experience the other day? I wanted to. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to end up, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money. I bought a few bits from Next Direct, but I also went into Primark, and Primark is not somewhere where I usually shop. Not because I'm a snob or anything. I just, you know what I mean?
Primani. Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's just not been on my radar. I normally buy clothes. I mean, I'm not like a fashionista. I normally buy my clothes from Next, right? You know what I mean? So I kind of like mid tier
prep. Going. Do they have an outlet in Portugal?
Next online.
Really?
I bought Next from Next online for years and years in Hong Kong.
I used to love a pair of Next chinos back in the day. It was quite
I've got it Next chinos. So they're kind of like, I call it like mid tier preppy, right? You know, the fashion. You know what I mean? But yeah, because I'm like what they call a middle of the road shopper.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm the middle shelf guy.
I wouldn't have you down as that.
I'm not spending €1,000 on a TV, but I'm not spending 100. It's going to break in 5 minutes. So for some reason, you know what I mean. I always do that. I'm the middle. I'm Mondeo man. Do you remember?
Yeah. No, I understand. I totally get it. I totally get it.
I'm that guy, right? But anyway, I went into Primark and I thought I'll buy a couple of hoodies from here, and I bought 2 hoodies, including this one, for €20.
What, for the pair?
Both. Yeah, for the pair. And you know, some 5-year-old in Cambodia was beaten.
Yeah,
you know
well, I imagine that the provenance is a little doubtful.
Yeah. I mean, I can see what they call it disposable fashion. You're thinking like, because I picked up the first one and the zipper was already broken. And then I thought, you know,
pre-loved
at €10 each, even if it only gets for a few washes, you know, but you know, it's not a good way to think, is it? This is not a good environmental thinking, and it's not good. I mean, no one was getting paid minimum wage, right?
Are you exactly? Do you think your ethics will extend to buying well resourced and ethically made clothing at any point?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I really haven't stopped thinking about it. It was only a couple of days ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. So yeah, I think it might. Just interested to know what anyone else thinks about that.
Well, there are brands in Portugal. There are brands in Portugal that show you the whole supply chain, and clearly it's reflected in the price as well.
Funnily enough, I noticed this on the Next website. They at least claim that their materials are ethically sourced. So you know, whether that's true or not is another thing. But you know, I'm hopeful.
You've got.
But I mean, even they're pretty cheap.
With your €10 hoodie, apparently.
Even they're pretty cheap. Yeah, I can't believe I've got chemicals in it. I can't believe it.
Free chemicals.
Yeah, free. But yeah, even Next, their hoodies weren't that expensive. To be fair, it's kind of like there's something wrong, isn't there? But yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend. I mean, I was in Sports Direct the other day, and I noticed they like if you want a hoodie that's got a tick on it, they want €65 for that tick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I don't like logos really. I've got a few things that got logos. I don't like them. You know, I've got a hat that says Adidas on it. I normally wear it like. I don't like it being in the front. I feel like a dickhead. You know what I mean? Look at me. I spent more because it's got this triangle on it. You know what I mean? I think it's weird.
Yeah. However, for some people who are still not over the childhood trauma of being put in either things that your mum knitted, or the plain brands that were cheaper, that then people grow up and they want to buy the things with names on, don't they, to right that wrong from the teenage years, perhaps.
There are a few things that are better. I mean, there is some, like when I was at Sports Direct, I don't know how we get onto this topic. Anyway, when I started it, right? But when we're at Sports Direct, I did, for example, tried on a like a Nike hoodie, and then I tried on a Puma hoodie, which was about half the price, right? So one's a picture of a tick and the other's a picture of a cat. And to be fair, you could feel the quality difference. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do think there is some quality, but that's where I think. Why am I saying this? That's where I think clothing stores like Next and even Marks and Spencer's come into their own. They don't try and be flashy, fashionable, but the quality's reasonable. Yeah.
Well, do you know what? We were going to be talking about aging, and that is perfect, isn't it? Listen to you talking about choosing your clothes from Next to Marks and Spencer's. How boring could we possibly be?
Yeah. Well, the transition from Next to Marks and Spencer's is the transition from what, Radio 2 to Radio 3, maybe.
No looking back.
Logos to Next is the transition from BBC One to BBC Two. Am I right?
It is. You're working your way through them. It may not be an analogy some of our friends from other countries understand, but they can probably fill in the blanks with that. They've probably got their own equivalent, haven't they?
I think so. Yeah.
You are so 2000. Apparently, I remember picking up a pair of shoes. How was that?
Your Paul Smith stuff last. The example I always give for me why I think Next quality is so good was when I was in Hong Kong. I got to see a real example because I remember I bought, funnily enough, a pair of Next chinos, and at the same time I bought a pair of Hugo Boss jeans. Right, this is when I was still rich, and the Hugo Boss jeans, I think. I can't remember. They were over £100 anyway. You know, they're 100 and something pound, maybe even 200 quid. And the chinos from Next were probably more like £20. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, 5 years later, I was still wearing the Next chinos as work for teaching. I wore them every day and walked and wore them and worked in them. But the Hugo Boss jeans had long, been scrapped.
And the lesson learned here, Tony.
The lesson learned was fix your internet, Munson.
I don't think it's mine. I think it's
mine. It's mine. Oh my God!
You're out in the countryside.
Listen, who's that bird you with there?
It's Larry, actually. Who
sorry, Larry. Oh yeah, of course. I should forget that with birds. Birds, it's the opposite, isn't it? The birds.
It is in the other species. It's the male that is more attractive. Notwithstanding your fine self-presentation today, you're not in a bunker though, are you? You're at home, having put in 20,000 steps already this morning.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. No Boss stuff for me. They made uniforms for the Nazis, so Matty's still boycotting Boss. They did as well. Boss could branch out to Shaker supporters. The funny thing about the Shaker apparel at the moment is apparently and I don't know if this is just a bit of mischief. I've yet to fact check it, but the Shaker campaign T-shirts were made in Bangladesh, which you got a lot. Even Andre Ventura must see.
We're on the internet. We don't need to fact check anything. What are you talking about?
No, okay, let's just say it and be done with it. Okay, so we were talking about aging, Tony, and I didn't ask you for your permission before I put you through this process. At least I guess it wasn't a bikini I put you in, but this is what you might look like. I'm presuming you've done this yourself. Getting old in Portugal.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
You're not unhappy with that, are you?
Not really, no.
My daughter caught sight of it and said he doesn't look too bad as an old guy. Actually,
my grandfather, who I somewhat take after, was a good looking older guy, and my father was a good looking older guy. So I'm not particularly scared of it anyway. But I'm not sort of worried that I'm gonna become like a Gurner kind of old guy or anything. No,
you've done that already. Didn't you do that in the 2000s?
Yeah, I already did that. I already went. I did my gurning in the actually in the the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Naughty. Yes.
Naughty. Very, very naughty.
Okay, hold on a minute. There's actually a very good question here. What is the theme for today?
Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Theme. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. I was going to say before I was listening before I came in. Oh my God! Just before I came in, I heard you talking about was it Oakland? Don't GPS Oakland?
Yes.
And I was thinking in Australia it's a little bit like that. It tends to be either. Well, there's obviously places that are named after sort of famous people, but put that to one side. Places either tend to have Aboriginal names, which is a really good way, actually, if you to learn some Aboriginal words as well. If you're in Australia, always if a name sounds a bit unusual, ask what it means, and you can learn a few Aboriginal words like that. And then the other places, they tend to be named after British towns. So, for example,
Wow,
every
what a
Australian
contrast.
capital has a Brighton, you know, and
Yeah,
it's always
does it really?
a seaside suburb. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like when I lived in Perth, there was Scarborough, Brighton, yeah, you know, all the
Scunthorpe.
kind
Was
of.
there a Scunthorpe?
There wasn't a Scunthorpe.
Probably
No.
not a great name to.
There was a Wickham, and that was a bit rubbish. You know.
Okay.
Well, famously in the UK, you know, Wickham, High Wycombe, right? The Lonely Planet has High Wycombe mentioned in it. It tells you how to pass it. So that's
Wow, we
a
really
little.
don't have a theme today, but I'm happy to keep freewheeling like this. I learned a new Australian word which described the bad behaviour of young men. I forget it now, but I'd never heard it before.
The bad behavior of young men. Surely I should know this.
Willem, or something. I can't remember what it was. It was a fascinating word that an Aussie poet or writer was talking about, and it was really good. It was like a uniquely Australian turn of phrase. Is the okay? Let's play guess the theme.
There's a great book. There's a great book if you want to learn Australian called Strine.
Okay.
Strine.
I had a book like that as a little kid, actually. When there was the first Bruce and Sheila thing was happening back in.
Well,
the
it's
70s.
old. I remember it as a kid, the book, because the idea. But I remember when I first arrived in Australia. The first time I went to Australia, I think I was only 5 or 6 years old. But I can remember not understanding what the hell they were saying.
Amazing, eh? It's like being in Cockney London back in the day. Larrikin. Larrikin is the word.
Oh yeah,
Well,
larrikin. Yeah, larrikin is a bit like well, the urchin is for like little kids. Larrikin is a bit like yobbo is an Australian word, isn't it?
Yobbo.
Larrikin is. It's not a chav, no. It's just a larrikin would be like a young guy who like maybe
uncouth,
some trouble. Yeah, uncouth youth. Yeah, that's better.
Uncouth youth. Very good. Excellent. There you go. Nothing to do with Portugal or aging, but I guess it says something about us that we're even using or talking about the word. You do look a bit parky there, Portuguese, says Peter. Yes, Tony. And some state names relate to the UK as well. Victoria might be one of them, right?
Yeah. South Australia, mate. South Australia. Named after the famous, is Cambridge in South Australia or not? I
don't know. There's no point asking. No point asking me about that. I've been to Oz once. I really enjoyed myself, but I don't know a lot about the country, generally speaking. Now, how many videos have you made since we last spoke? And what's been on your mind? What have you been doing? And I want to particularly ask you about the getting older in Portugal. You did a video like you're old when. Can you give us a little bit of a reprise on that? What were the things that came up?
Well, I tell you what happened. I was I go to a cafe almost every day. It's just part of my like little routine, and they know me so well that I don't say anything. I sit down. They give me a batonado and a slice of toast. Right, this is what I have every day. And
whether you want it or not.
Whether I want it or not, I actually hate it. And it's a.
How long has that been going on for? How long has that been going on?
About 5 years now. I actually want a beer and a pastel donata, but what can I do? I don't want to offend. I'm English.
You're a people pleaser.
I can't say anything. I can't say anything. They call me Neville. Good morning, Bondi and Neville.
Here's your
our American friend. He's your batonado and toast. Oh, bloody hell, what's going on?
Here we go again.
I better go there every day so that I don't make them feel like they've made a mistake.
Oh, God forbid.
God forbid. But I was sat there the other day. This is really true how I was thinking. I'm not saying it for a fact. This is really what happened. I was like, every day, you see the same people. You're like, hey, bon dia, handshake with a few of them.
Here we go again.
And I was thinking it's quite funny because everyone in here, there's no young people. Very rarely there's young people. And I thought, you know what this is like? Chuckling away to myself as I typed into my MacBook, making a little social media. You know what it's like? This is like a day center for old people who've got nowhere better to go. Oh, shit.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Joke's on me.
The joke is on me, yeah. So anyway, that's what I thought. What does it mean to be getting older in Portugal? And I think that statistically, probably most of us, as expats or immigrants, whatever you want to call them, are probably over 50s. And I noticed you've been doing an over 50s thing.
That's our orientation. That's our orientation for
school.
the shift for this year. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm interested in what people think about, because you know, Portugal is seen as somewhere to retire, and you have that bit of a slower pace of life. But I mean, you know, one of the pitfalls of retiring, am I right? Most people have these stories, don't they, of people who retire and then drop dead 6 months later because they're not doing anything.
It's the thing. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Got to keep busy. Got to keep active.
So
Yeah.
you got to keep busy. So I think that's a big part of it. And even if you're like, as I say myself, like I'm kind of semi-retired, but I'm a relatively young. You know, most people who retire, you associate it being in your mid-60s or even your late 60s, right? But a lot of people in Portugal are retired or semi-retired people who are younger than that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that can even compound a bit, because I do meet a lot of people who seem to be spending a lot of time doing very little.
Well, I've got a name for that. Peak pastel, where
Peak pastel,
there's something people look forward to, and obviously it's useful to have a goal, isn't it, when you're working towards something. And that might be, well, I look forward to the days when I can go and have my coffee and pastel donato and do as I please. But once you've done that for a few weeks, then I did fall into the trap of saying it's important to stay active, and it is. But I think that the reason why people suffer such a crisis of an existential crisis on retirement is more to do with identity, isn't it? If their life has been generated out of their profession and the dramas of work that's animated their life, if that suddenly stops, that's going to be quite disruptive to their personality and their whole energy, isn't it?
100%. And I think it's something. Even I was speaking to somebody yesterday who God, I hope anyway, maybe yesterday, could have been any other day. I'm not talking about any specific person. But this particular person, I feel is not happy, and I feel like they haven't got any kind of like got goals or
purpose.
Like, let me put it another way. I found this last year when I was sort of into dating a lot. One of the things I sort of criticized quite often.
Past tense. I will come back to that. It sounds like that you've put that behind you.
Quite often I would speak to people, and I would ask them, you know, what do you do? What are your goals? And people have got nothing. People have got nothing. Whereas if you ask me, I could give you a real long list. It'd be quite boring, but you know, I'm a guitarist, I'm a father, I'm a teacher, I'm into exercise, I'm a YouTuber.
An agent provocateur as well.
No, but do you know what I mean? I've got like tons of things going on, and I can tell you what my goals are. Like I've got targets, and which doesn't mean they have to be rigid either. You know, I'm flexible about things, but I've always got like goals. Do you know what I mean? Like in the future, like you know, for example, I want to graduate from my degree in the summer. You know what I mean? I've got things like lined up, and I'm busy. Also, I'm busy. So during the day, I don't like have loads of free time, but that's my choice. Do you know what I mean? So I can make time. But what I mean is I meet people they've really got a lot of free time, and they're not really in control of their lives and things like that. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's nice to not be in control. Sometimes it's nice to have free days, but I feel quite nervous, to be honest, if I've got like a whole free day. It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe you're at the other extreme of this phenomenon we're talking about.
Yeah, maybe. But what I mean is I'm not likely to I hope not. Anyway, I'm not likely to fall into a sort of a depression about. I see a lot of people. I meet a lot of people been in Portugal for a while. They become quite depressed, and they're really,
and then that goes completely against what one might imagine. I suppose that's the shocker there, isn't it?
Yeah. And they're becoming not happy here, and then most of what they're doing is complaining about being here. And whenever I hear
we are complaining about them.
I say go, you know, sell up and leave if you're not happy. Just
tough love. Tough love from Tony. Tony's tough love tips.
Yeah, well, it's
possibly.
annoying for me as well. It's annoying, you know.
But you're trying to sit there, have a nice time with them, and they're just banging on about why they're so unhappy.
Yeah, look, it's already bad enough. I didn't want this at Batonado. My name's not Neville, and I
now
don't even
whingy
like
expert.
now you're whinging. Now you're whinging about the rain.
It's enough to make you want to move.
Speak to Munson about the rain. Bloody hell. What are you doing?
Point taken. Now, and this is why, this is part of my 50+ orientation here on the show, because when I first found out about the work of Joy and Amelie, who are dealing with the very important matters of aging and dying in Portugal, which goes with this territory. I think it was Joy who did the aging and dying group in Setúbal and in Stubes. And then Amelie came to Caldas and thought, okay, we need to put some emphasis on living as well as aging and dying. So that adding became ladding. And I thought to myself, well, we also need growing, which is the purpose part. And so there's gladding now, which I've yet to make any serious impact with. But you make a very important point. We're talking about an important thing here, which is all of those things are an inevitability, and it's worth getting them those I's dotted and T's crossed, because you don't want to cause trouble for yourself in older age here in Portugal, and it's good to plan that as best you can and not just ignore it. But also, if these are your, and actually, I don't know if it's this column in this last week, but this whole idea of the last half, whether you see it as the last half or the third act, why not approach that in terms of growing? You know, if
100%.
There's a certain trajectory for the body, isn't there? And you know, there's wear and tear, and there's a sense of things running down. But there's also, I think, a lost sense of how great and how much is possible in older age as well. You'd think that's where the wisdom kicks in, and you could be even more useful to society than you've ever been, if possibly.
Well, I think as well when it comes to body. I mean, I know there's a certain element of luck in that as well. Okay, as we age, but I do think that exercise is very, very important. You know, like you can improve, that, you can improve it. But I do want to say another thing, which is we've all noticed that time, you know, it's a cliche, but you really notice that time seems to go faster the older you get. But I think the best way I can talk about it is because people talk about it as being one of the theories is that time becomes relative to your age. So like a week feels shorter to how long you've been alive, right? But I think what it's to do with is routine. And the way I say that is think about like how quickly it goes if you're on holiday, especially if you're on that kind of holiday where you don't do anything, you know, that kind of beach holiday or whatever. The time just goes super quickly. And I think it's because you're not like shaking things up and you're not doing things, so you haven't got so many anchor points of memory. Does that make sense? So I think like if you're busy and you're doing things, unless you fall down there, if you're busy and you're doing things, you'll slow time down a bit, number one, and also the time is going to go past anyway. So you might think, oh look, you know, I'm too old to, just for example, something I've done recently is I thought I want to go back. I want to go back to university anyway. Do a degree. You know, and some of my friends said, "Why, it's going to take you years." I'm like, the years are going to go by anyway, and I like studying anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So why not? You know, and so
but how
you can do things. Learn how to play piano. Learn how to dance. Learn how to.
Okay, well, you're answering my question. And we've got a few nice comments as well. I had a 30-year-old tell an anecdote about some old guys he met, then continue explaining they're probably that's an awkward cul-de-sac in a conversation. We've all done that, haven't we? You know, in our younger days. Live weather, it's gone from 2 millimeters now to that's quite the exponential increase there, Matty. Glad I'm warm and dry inside the house. Have we still got a picture of Matty's house? No, we haven't. I'm not sure if you saw this, but I don't think this is where Matty lives necessarily. I think this. Hopefully, he's not under this tarpaulin with 5 millimeters of rain every hour. I think that's just his generator. I don't think he's not
in the box.
No, he's not in there. I think he's somewhat better off than that. You need to understand what matters most, prioritize your priorities, and everything will fall into place. I think that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
good.
think also saying no. Well, one thing I've really learned in the last couple of years, I'm still even like practicing it, but this is something that's been really good for me, is to say no to things as well. It's like I put a very high value on my time now, you know, and saying no, I think it's probably it can be difficult for a lot of people, but you know, learning how to say no, or like, you know, when people say this thing like, "Oh, are you free on Friday?" and saying, "For what?" You need to tell me. You need to. You know.
Yeah, I need more.
I need more than that, because I don't know if I'm going to be free on Friday. You know what I mean?
Depends.
Yeah.
Listen to you.
Like, do you have any spare change?
Why? What are you going to spend it on? Do you ask that when people are begging from you? Do you want to know? Do you want to see a receipt?
Yeah, no, I'm not like that. But it's yeah, I just don't give any. No, I don't care. I don't care. I'll give it a homeless guy if he buys a beer with it. I'm good with that.
Okay, yeah. But you draw the line there. Begging in Portugal and what to do about that. That's a thing I don't think I've ever talked about. And I often get this at the supermarket. Somebody showing me a picture of some kids and like, and holding out their hand, and you know, for some food and so on. And it's clearly a well-run routine. I tend to give a little bit of change, and Mrs. M even says, "Oh, look, they've seen you. They're coming after you now. They're following you back to the car." And I tend to give a little bit of change. What's your view on that? Are people begging money from you?
No, I don't. What I do is I've had this strategy all of my life, which is when it comes to donating money, I have my club and I donate money there, and then that's me.
That's it. That's
yeah. Occasionally I'll give to a busker if they're any good, because I've done a bit of busking. Actually, that's one thing I see here at my local Lidl is there's this guy, and everyone kind of knows him, but he kind of like, he sits there and he sits and he plays guitar, but he plays like just one chord over and over again.
Yeah, if you're passing at quite a speed, you imagine he creates the impression that he's busking and singing entire songs.
Yeah,
but he's just doing the same thing over and over again. That's a pretty good ruse, isn't it?
But what frustrates me is when we were, but I mean, obviously we weren't, when I used to go busking with my sons, we weren't really doing it for the money. We were doing it for like practice and the crack, really. But I always said to my sons, we learn every week. We learn new songs.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We pushed the boat out and we took decent equipment, and we wore like band T-shirts, and we made an effort. You know, whereas this guy just sits there, a can of beer on one side, smoking half the time, and
same chord over and over again.
Yeah, and not making any effort. And I feel like, dude, you'd probably make more money if you stood up and put some effort into it. But what do I know?
Okay, fair enough. So obviously not very much. You may be giving the occasional can of beer. Right, the UK back to aging and purpose, because it's quite an important topic here, and one we shall return to. And I want to find out what your personal advice is to people who do feel a bit purposeless, perhaps having finished work and wondering what to do next. UK Office for National Statistics did a survey on happiness by age group. There's some nuance to it, as ever, but geezers in general are happy. Geezers is becoming the generic term for old people, like giffers.
Yeah, but that's the boomers, isn't it? That's the boomers who, like, sucked the planet dry.
And they've got
everyone from then on, like
all the stuff.
Yeah. Like I'm a Gen Xer, We'd already,
a chip on your shoulder.
We'd already had our lives ruined. Latchkey kid.
Yeah. Okay. So if you are happy, it's against all the odds, and because you made it happen yourself, despite how badly you were parented.
You got everything handed to you on a plate. Yeah, those boomers.
You sound a bit bitter.
I'm just joking. I love boomers.
It's a pretty good way of triggering.
I love them. Please leave me your house in your will.
I don't think that's going to work. You changed your tune a little bit disingenuously there. For an all-out attack, and then please leave me your house. You might have to nuance that a little bit, Tony.
Yeah. Well, there'll be some people who only just tuned in at the second part.
Yeah, so expect letters from people.
Yeah.
See, that's you
could say a compelling argument. Please leave me your house in your will.
Yeah, I mean,
Please.
no standing in little car parks for you. You're just outright asking for people for their houses on a live
Yeah.
stream. That's classy. That is
Yeah.
that is very
Hey,
classy.
what's the worst that can happen? They might say no, but you know
Yeah,
what? There might be the odd one who's doing the
that's the
paperwork
spirit.
now as we speak.
That calling their lawyer.
Sure.
That Portuguese guy. I want to give him my house.
Calling their avocado.
Right. You're clearly a creative person. I've seen a lot of great videos just recently. I've discovered a new seam of upbeat, positive, and inspirational speakers on YouTube. I never thought it would happen. But what's being served up to me in the last week has been fabulous. Things I'd hoped for but had never seen. New speakers, new YouTube creators, really, really wonderful people, and all sorts of lovely memes. And maybe there's, this is a response to the darkness of the world. There's a lot of light pouring in as well. And I saw a guy talking about creativity, and I stopped for a moment. I thought, God, yeah, I'd never thought about this, but actually, by being creative, I write an article a week, at least one article. I do about 10 live streams a week. Me and Mrs. M are constantly kind of making stuff and creating things, which we take for granted, I think, because it's just a habit. But I got a moment with this guy talking about the importance of creativity, about how much that actually nourishes me. Being in that, it feels like a job in a way. But then when I thought about it, gosh, the whole idea of being able to push buttons and create things and work with video, sound, and graphics, and the whole package is really nourishing and sustaining. And then it occurred to me, because he's made this video, there are people who don't, like you and I, Tony. There are other people who aren't playing the guitar every other minute and creating something. What's your advice to those people who are struggling to find that? A long corporate life, a successful corporate life. Now they're in retirement, might not know what to do. This guy was talking about how to get started. He was talking about people breaking down into tears when they realized they had stopped being creative and following their passions and dreams. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I think as well you can try and remember things that maybe you did when you were young that you enjoyed, because a lot of people stop doing things when they're young, don't they? But something I did, I think being creative doesn't even have to be I think for me and you, we tend to towards the arts. I think maybe in writing or video making or music or whatever it is, we tend to. But I think creative can be also business.
Yeah.
And I think it could also be like building things, or even like home renovations, or something I did. It was my son's 18th. Just after Christmas. He's 28th of December. And just for example, it might sound like a little thing, but I thought, you know what? I'm not going to buy him a cake. I'm going to bake him a cake.
Nice.
So me and my youngest son, we went out, we bought all the ingredients, we made a carrot cake, and we made the icing and did it all properly. And it worked out really, really well. It was actually more expensive,
of course it is.
Unsurprisingly, right? It worked out more expensive to do it that way, but it was so nice. And it was nice to have the house full of the smell of fresh baking. And of course it was a vegan cake, so it was a little bit more
ticked a lot of boxes
to making it. And it was funny because after I made it, I realized it's probably been something like 35, because the last time I'd made a cake, I think I was in the Cubs.
Really? Working for a badge?
Doing it for a badge. Yeah. So in my life, I think that was the third cake I'd ever baked, because I remember in the Cubs, I did two. I did a banana.
God, how did it turn out?
I did a banana cake for the badge, and I did a carrot cake for the we had like a fete. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
A
jamboree.
Like to sell some stuff to raise. So I did that in the Cubs. So that was my third cake, but I'm 53, and I'll do it again. And
what flour do Cubs use in their cakes? I've just made a joke up. Fundraising flour, not self-raising. Fundraising flour. That's a dad joke. And do you know what? By way of a conclusion to the show this morning, just when you thought all the Christmas decorations had been put away, and you're not going to hear a terrible joke for another year from a cracker, I've got all the evidence
from a cracker. Did you see that joke I put up the other day about the white, the safe cracker?
Oh dear, yes. Yeah. Well, I don't think that's going to be one of these. We'll finish with these today. But I think the point being made here is just have a go, try things, do something you haven't done for a decade.
What do you
Bit of
got to
homework.
lose? What do you got to
Yeah.
lose? You're nearly dead anyway. Your body's given up.
So inspirational.
You know,
so
can't get a-
inspirational this morning.
You can't get
Right,
you can't get what you want in the cafe. You know,
tough luck, Tony.
just try it. Try anything legal.
Crack
Try
on,
anything
crack on. You're
legal.
nearly dead. Right. Okay. Fantastic. Thanks,
try,
mate.
try anything legal. Crack on. You're nearly dead anyway. Yeah.
Brilliant. Inspirational stuff. Right. Why did Darth Vader turn off one light? Carl, I need you to respond a bit quicker than this, Tony.
So say it again. Say it again.
Come on, we haven't got long left. Could you answer a bit quicker than this?
Say it again because we're blank.
Why did Darth Vader turn off one light?
I don't know.
He prefers it on the dark side. Why do I tuck my knees into my... Oh, this is good. Why do I tuck my knees into my chest and lean forward?
Why do you do that?
It's just how I roll, Tony.
I thought it was facing the inevitable slide towards entropy or something.
Dark. No, don't go dark.
Okay.
You see, Christmas cracker jokes, not bloody.
Oh yeah, that
Stephen
wouldn't be in a Christmas cracker.
Stephen Hawking's autobiography. Which type of dog has no tail? I need to hurry.
A tailless dog.
A hot dog. I can do it in French as well if you want. Quel type de chien?
Might be better.
Oh, it's the same one.
Better,
That's no good. You don't want repeat jokes in crackers. I'm going to send these back. Just how I roll again. That's no good. Oh, this is good. Avez-vous entendu parler des deux gars qui ont voté en calendrier? Which in English is, did you hear about the two guys who stole a calendar?
They both ended up on a date.
Very good. They both got 6 months, Tony. Very good. I know you'll be using a lot of these later at the cafe after you've had your rabat and toast.
Sure.
Why was...
I'll make an supper as well.
See, fair. Spread it around a bit. Right. Non-vegan joke. Why was the turkey in the pop group? Oh. Music joke. Why was the turkey... En français, quelle fête déteste le ding-dong. Le ding-dong. Okay.
The ding-dong.
Because he was the only one with drumsticks.
Oh, my God.
These are all right. I'm definitely going to put these away and bring them out again next year. No one will remember.
Of course,
that's another benefit of aging.
If you're really careful with the sellotape, you put the crackers back together as well. Yeah, but you save the Christmas wrapper. Don't rip that paper, kids. We can use that. We can use that again next year.
Right. What falls without making a sound?
Not
the Roman Empire.
A tree in the forest if nobody's there.
No, night. Why did the Christmas tree go to the barber?
For to be trimmed.
Very good. To be trimmed. Yeah. It needed to be trimmed. What word is always spelled incorrectly?
Incorrectly.
Way!
Oh my God.
Use that in your English.
If I get the next one right, I win £20.
You do. What word is always spelled incorrectly? You already know that one, though. So we'll give you... These are repeating on me.
I'm happy to do it again for the 20.
Right. Do you want to stop there, or do you want to
give me one more? Give me one more.
The prize is a boomer's house, as yet to be arranged with a lawyer. Okay.
In Portugal, that could be a bloody albatross, couldn't it? Really. But anyway, let's.
We meant to renovate it, but it's yours now.
Yeah. It's a turnkey.
You call an artist.
The only thing that works is the key.
And the door's over there. What on a pile of rocks? What do you call an artist who sculpts with? Oh, this is great. This is the big prize winner. Okay, what do you call an artist who sculpts with bicycle parts? Tony, for a boomer's house. What do you call? Drum roll, please. What do you call an artist?
Pedal, a chain, with a what? With a sculpture? What? Say it again.
No, what do you call an artist who works with bicycle parts?
All right, a bike.
We were up all night rehearsing these, weren't we?
Michelangelo, I don't know.
Michelangelo.
Oh my God! You're gonna. Hey, you got to accept. You got to accept Michael. I said Michelangelo. If I'm being honest,
I'm sorry. It's not close enough. It's not close.
Come on, come on. Imagine the complaints you're gonna get in the mailing. You got to let that guy have his.
Let's see.
Ruin in Castello Branco that's full of asbestos.
Turnkey Ruin. Is that a new website for Portuguese properties? Turnkeyruin.com.
Turnkey Ruins. Oh God. Turnkey Ruins for you. TurnkeyRuinsForYou.com.
With high energy rating.
Yeah. They promised me 300 days of sunshine, pastel donata, and a place in the sun.
Tony, or should I say, what do they call you at the cafe?
Neville.
Neville, thank you so
the
much.
American.
Neville the American. Go and enjoy your apatonado and your
exactly that.
Your tejada, and we'll see you again.
Have a lovely day, everybody. Overpriced turkey ruins for you. That's it. That's it.
We're gonna be rich. Cheers, Tony. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need